All right. Good morning. Good morning. Getting ready to switch over. All of a sudden, I heard like metal to glass sound. Yeah. Was mixing a spoon. I was like, oh God, what is that? What? No, you can't play with that. I know. Yeah. Get your lacrosse stick. Yeah. Kipster's still a sickie over here. So he's a little volatile. Anyway, looking at the last 24-hour pip changes out here, you can see that the dollar for the most part is up across the board. Some of the data that came in today absolutely supports that. Here, Bubba, let's put this in here. There we go. Wow, what's that? Um, Again, pound retracing a little bit. You can see the euro pound is up 8, so not too much there. but for the most part, it's more or less just a dollar play at this point. Aussie dollar down 37. You're seeing it is retracing. In the overnight, some of the data that came out, obviously the European data came in hotter than expected, both on the overall flash as well as the core numbers. Italian CPI also on the higher side. There's some comments. Where is it? Right here. The case for a 50 basis point hike this month is still on the table. But again, is it driving massive amounts of European strength? Not really. Um, so not something that I'm gonna say it's there. It's running, Will, but it's not taking your ticket yet. Um, so we are seeing that, but it's not driving massive amounts. I think the fact that it's still on the table and the fact that they haven't said that they were doing that already is obviously what affects it. Now I have the yellow up here, and more or less for the 8:30 release that we just kind of got out here. Going back to the non-farm productivity, but really more so the labor unit costs or unit labor costs, I guess is the correct way to say it. What, do you want Daddy to fix it? Here, here, look, take this. Here, you can put this like this, buds. No, this side. Sorry. Um, Basically the expectation was double, right? Um, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, you're so inquisitive. Um, this is a quite a large miss. Now they expected it to go higher a little bit, but again, this is the cost of labor. Again, being twice what they expected, it just goes to show you this kind of goes back to profits. And again, knowing people that it is affected directly, this is somewhat concerning overall. Just as far as not so much kind of like a trade today or anything like that, but when labor is very, very expensive, there's a couple of different options. One, again, you can lower profits and all that kind of stuff. But two, it tends to lead people towards layoffs, right? I mean, if you again remember, a lot of these people, like the jobs market was so hot, it's like, man, whatever it takes, we need to get someone to work. I mean, people were demanding ridiculous strategy, ridiculous salaries. There was the great layoff and all that. Well, now if you can lay somebody off, there's a lot of people, especially in tech, that are looking for jobs because they got laid off, and they're taking pay cuts because they need a job. Yeah, I know a couple people that's affected already. So, yeah, it's kind of one of these, what type of, you know, what type of accelerant is this providing? So again, a little hidden number here, just kind of showing us what the environment's going to look like, going forward a little bit. Now we do have natural gas later today, and remove this, put it right there. It's funny. I don't know. It's not taking your tickets, guys. I'm not sure why. Not sure why. Looks like there's a little bit of a link problem there. Sometimes that happens. I don't know. We'll see. It may just kick in eventually here and be like, whoop, there you go. It happens. You know why? Because they're laying all those people, those tech people off. That's what it is. No, it's not really what it is. Sometimes the link gets broken. I don't know. I have no way to fix it. Anyway, we do have some other speeches later on today. You have Waller speaking later on this afternoon. The governor from New Zealand is also speaking. So a couple things in there. BOE, energy may not lead to persistent inflation. Yeah, probably not because there's so much of a surplus at this point. It's kind of a weird thing. CNBC had us an article out this morning as well, talking about year after the first rate hike. The Fed is still a long way from its final fight of inflation. And again, they're talking about the inflation problem not being fixed in 2024. So, so much for front loading it. No, you're not getting. Nope. No. We're not touching any of those things. Here, you can play with this. You can play with this, but you're not going to play with that. So yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting year as far as raises go. I think there's 100% universal agreement that they're not done yet. I think everybody believes this. How much more, I guess, is the biggest question. When are they going to continue to raise? A lot of people were still in the belief that, they would raise, and then the last quarter of this year, they would actually reduce it a little bit because, it was a little bit too restrictive. And now, even Bostic, who's, Mr. I'm going to confuse everybody, even he says, didn't give us as high of a rate, but basically said that, these rates are going to be here till, at least the end of 2024. So a whole nother year over what people expected. So there's a lot more to this. I don't think the story is, technically over yet. I think there's more to go, right? More to go with that one. So the next 24 hours, the next big thing we have tomorrow is ISM services. Obviously, services is also one of the big deals. We saw manufacturing data was, pretty decent mover. But that's it. Besides that, not really a whole lot else out there as it's coming to the end of the week. Remember, next week is really kind of the big one. Typically the first Friday is always that non-farm payroll, but because it was, what? Then get down. If you want to go play with it, get down. Like you can't drop stuff and then expect me to pick it up. Um, Next week will really be the kind of the bing, 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 bing all over the place. This week, obviously not so much, even though we rolled into the new month. So with that, let's go right into kind of some of the data out here. So VIX took a little bit of a jump, but it's kind of holding firm out there. Again, you're seeing some of the stocks out there, particularly like Tesla getting slammed pretty good. The dollar continuing to rise up. Yesterday at that 8:30 kind of window was really the bottom, and it has been pretty textbook in its grind back up again. Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction. I mean, literally all the way back up. Now, again, I don't really put a lot of stock into the 786, but it is an area. I mean, you can look at this here and say, wait a second, there's a base, there's a touch. Are we going to get some contributing factors in there? A session rollover. Sure. Yeah, I mean, all those things are very valid things that could be potentially happening right now. And you just got to try to think like, what is the catalyst, right? What is going to be the catalyst right now? So, we are high. I think profit taking is absolutely something that we, should mention and talk about, and really think about too. Where we are right now. I mean, we're already starting to see it roll back again. Get out. Stop. He's now looking for like holes in the computer case. That's how we end up blinking out in the middle of this whole thing. Here, you sit here. Here, sit here. You want to play with my phone? So we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. We'll see if we can maintain this. Again, it did turn right at 9 o'clock and is maintaining and holding a little bit at 9:30. We tend to see in the U.S. session dollar strength. We've had so much. Excuse me. We've had so much in the overnight. It's important to note that right there is your European session. This green candle. So we pulled down and it's been nothing but straight up all morning. So quite a bit of a move. Indices, they're all leaning towards the red again. It seems to be more of a dollar strength. Hey, listen, they're going to raise interest rates. And again, a lot of people in the know understand what the labor cost being higher is. Again, even if the company did just as many sales as they did, right? Increased labor cost means it's going to be reduced profit. And nobody likes that, particularly in Wall Street. You can talk about interest rates being restrictive, but once you see profit deteriorating, right? Profit margin deteriorating, that's what really upsets Wall Street the most. Okay? Here, take this. Here, take this. All right, so you can see YM is holding on just by a little bit. It's at positive 0.05, 0.06. So it's trying its best right now. But again, you can see Russell pretty deep, NQ. We already know what's going on with that. And again, even the ES right now is down 0.5%. So yeah, interesting day. And again, the reality is maybe maybe we get a nice little negative day today leading into like a feel good Friday tomorrow. Not that there's tons to feel good about. Although I don't know if you guys saw it, it came out this morning. I guess the Senate passed. The bill to revoke the executive order on fund managers having to focus on green initiatives or something like that. It did pass Senate, so it did make it through. A few Democrats voted with the Republicans to pass it through. Although people are, Biden has already, basically said that, oh, we'll veto it. So, yeah. Again, if you can get Republicans and Democrats voting on something, there's something to be said about that. But yeah, I guess he's going to try to veto it. So there may be something in there. As far as commodities go, gold and silver going down. And again, with seeing the dollar up, we talked about it yesterday from where they were in those levels dropping back down. We'll show those on the charts. But as far as crude oil goes, I mean, crude is up a little tiny bit. Natural gas is down 0.07, which is basically dead flat, holding that 280 mark, which, again, I don't like the 280 mark. I want it to go down, although, and again, our gas went up. It was 293. I'm sorry, it was 290, the other 293. I think I got it for, and it's back up to 295. So there was that little, like, kind of tease this with that 2 cent. But I filled up. I was like, oh, it's below 295. I'm getting some. Yeah, I was enjoying that. But then again, gold and silver. So jumping over to the currency. So yesterday, again, we were sitting up in here. We talked about it. The move was out. And if we could have got up, we said, hey, listen, if it gets back up, great. It's been pretty consistent. It's just been a grind down. You can see we had a level formed here at 12 o'clock, and then it kind of came up and tested it last night at about 7. So there was a continuation down, and it kind of bounced off the same buyers that stopped it here, and then they kind of found him and fought him again. So again, you got their 1, 2, and 3, and then it started the basing and kind of gave you a little bit of a Harry Potter trade in here. And again, here's a European session open. Right here, the 3:30ish mark base, and then right here at 7 o'clock, you can see it kind of pulled back up in that kind of continuation. Um, I would say it's more just it's a channeling trend back down again. We knew because of this area here, we really weren't going to see a whole lot coming until right here. And again, I just extended that across, and you can see that's kind of where it bounced off of. Is it a great buy area? Not really, because again, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Push it to the end. Again, obviously they exist there, but right now with that dollar strength rolling in, we are at the top, but this is not one of those level that has high enough probability for us to be able to look at this and say, yeah, this is a good one. We're taking this one, right? So yeah, I mean, we're approaching this next level here. And again, this is quite a large zone, pushed pretty deep. It was touched, so there was a confirmation there. And that's kind of where it's getting close to. But even then, is it the grade A plus reversal long trades that we're looking for? Not really. So, I mean, right now we're kind of in like, hey, we got a lot of chop, right? We got a lot of sellers above. They're decent levels of sellers. We got some areas that have been tested multiple times. Is it time to, to call a reversal? Not really. Again, we can see right here, again, we got the ISM number. We know that is going to be a big one. And again, right now, how much of this is actually preparing for what is coming tomorrow? Can we get all the way down to this 60? Again, we like the 65.97. Can we get all the way down to there? That's about 120 pips. It's only got a daily ATR of 81. There's really no news for the rest of today. Maybe if Waller, what is Waller speaking at? I don't know, the Mid-Sized Bank Coalition of America virtual event. Can Waller say something at 4 o'clock to, go crazy? I don't know that Waller has that ability, right? So again, that's kind of a hard draw. So at this point, it's really kind of, we're really kind of looking for some type of an establishment. Maybe it does take a little bit of a bounce out here in the bottom side. And, I think the way to play this one in the next 24 hours, and again, you're not going to have a trade every single day in every pair. I think the way to look at this one would be really to say, hey, listen, we know that data is coming in tomorrow. That's a big data release. Maybe we look to see what happens inside of this zone, right? And again, I do this for all my news trades. I will look at this area and say, hey, listen, I know that this is where the European session opens. Again, everything right before that, Asian session, not so much pre-positioning. But what's it do? And again, you don't have to be up at 3, right? You could be, get in at 8 o'clock and kind of see where prices pushed itself. Have the Europeans pushed it up, or have the Europeans pushed it down in that session right before that news? And is that a foreshadow of what we're about to see? A lot of times it is. So right now for the Aussie, that's really all we got. So I mean, if you're one of those people that it's like, is it trending? Yes, it is trending, which is great. That's step 1. Okay, is it pulling back? It is. Does it have a clear room to go, or is it going to run into another zone? And that's where the big X comes in. It's like, listen, it's been here 3 times. I mean, it's been here 3, so it's a lower probability versus one of these 2, but it's still an area where buyers are. Could it hit a 4th time and then bounce? Sure, it could, right? So, again, a little bit riskier. The next best trade we have for the Aussie dollar is really coming up over here with the ISM manufacturing news. Now, also, again, you can see from yesterday, again, completed trade all the way back down. We were sitting right here. It kind of popped up. It hasn't even gone all the way back up, and it hasn't gone down. So, really, I would say that this one is probably more considered consolidating. Again, some of these people that love these patterns, you could say, hey, listen, that's where it is. It's going to be a huge blowout. Maybe we get something with, or speaking. Again, you may say, well, this is New Zealand, not Aussie. Yeah, but they tend to go in lockstep with each other. When one bounces, the other one does too as well. So right now, this one is really just kind of, again, I'm curious. Let's see. Yeah, see how it's starting to get more pinched? We had the bigger swings, and now it's staying inside. I mean, looking at this, you can say, well, wait a second. We've been kind of pinched more or less in that range. Go back, definitely wider, 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 wider. Here's a pinch, but this is much longer than the pinch. So it's been here for a while. You can see the consolidation is coming down. The pinch is really there. And even here, top to bottom, let's see, how far is it at the minimum pinch right there? Look, You can see that's even. It's in even there. We're kind of we're stuck at pinch for an extended period of time right now. So unfortunately for this, I think again you could potentially take the top side of this one, waiting for it to come through. And again, that's at that 92.20. We've talked about this level a few times now. And again, the last hit off of it was great. But 92.20 up top. Again, no trend whatsoever right now. And downside, again, there's 3 touches here. It could go a little bit lower. I would say, if anything, maybe. Again, this is okay. Here, let me move. Take that. I'm just gonna see it a little better. Maybe something short term here, but you can see there's not really any major news that we're looking for on this one. So, um, again, the only news we have coming up for Aussie yen right now is basically with the dollar, which would be a yen proxy. So, and again, this is a double proxy, right? Because what happens with the dollar will affect gold, which will affect the Aussie. So it's like a double proxy there, and then obviously what happens with the dollar will affect the Dow, which will affect the yen. So this is like a double, quadruple, second cousin 3 times removed, right? 5 degrees, or what is it? 7 degree separation, whatever that Kevin Bacon thing is, right? That's kind of what this one is right now as far as proxies go for tomorrow. So not really much in there either. And as far as setups go, I mean, 92.90 is okay. Maybe a small level here depending on when it comes down and when it hits. Maybe a European session entry, maybe. But besides that, not a whole lot here. And again, we still have the alert waiting for a breakthrough in 91, 31. Euro dollar. So again, seeing dollar strength come back in. We were talking about rolls. You can see, yeah, look at this one. But it's not working for you now, Ty, either. See, it hasn't told me. You know what? Hold on, let me see. Let's close it. Let's see if we can. Let's do it again. Copy. So see, I just initiated it, and typically it sends it through, but it has not sent it through yet. So, nothing I can do about that one. Because it'll give you the pop-up over there. I don't know why it's not working. Anyway, yesterday at 8:30, we talked about this level, how close it was. We missed it by just over what the spread was, this 106. You can see it came back down. It kind of chopped through this area. Now, there was a little bit of a Harry Potter trade in here that I want to mark off. Again, we had basing, and I warned everybody about it. It ended up working out fine. But we talked about a level of basing right here, right? The problem with this one, as far as drawing a Harry Potter wise, was because of these 2 little pieces here. And you can see there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and it started the base. You're like, oh, give me the pullback. Now, it did. It did give us the pullback. It did need the whole piece of it, so it was actually a short trade. This one was a 4 o'clock release. So, unless you were... Biden too old for a second term. That's interesting. friend of mine sent me a thing like, oh, new poll, Biden's too old for a second term. I'm like, I think Biden was too old for the first term. So it did give us a Harry Potter. In looking at this one, you may, again, you could have woken up at 3 and said, okay, what does it look like 3 o'clock wise? There's the push. I mean, it was in the right spot. It did pull back up again. It did give us the triangle, and it did complete. It did actually come down to the move from yesterday, and we're sitting there right now. So it's something that if you were up there for the European Open, you could have absolutely traded. Had a tornado warning at 1 a.m. Needed my weather radio to go off at 4 a.m. Check radar, check forex. Yeah, I mean, my biggest problem right now, Jeff, I mean, there's so many. I mean, again, for those of you that don't know what the Harry Potter is, a Harry Potter is a trend continuation pattern. And what it does is it takes an old level of supply or demand, a level where you had buyers and sellers. Eventually, buyers and sellers disappear. And just like you've heard with support and resistance, old becomes new. It works a lot of the same ways as well with supply and demand. It was an area of demand, right? How do I know? Because buyers bought it, and popped it off. That's 3 touches at 4. It's supposed to crash. When it bases, that's a telltale sign. They're going through. And they do. But you need to pull back to the level. The pullback came down and then hit. And in this case, it was 11 pips worth of risk. And then obviously to set a 1 to 3, which is sitting right there, you had about 33 in the other direction. Profit taking would have had to have occurred right here. You need to make sure you're out. And again, you can see it went just below that one. So it was a perfect setup. You just got to make sure that you're awake at that time. My problem right now, and again, you guys know, my wife did have Kip, but she's tired of breastfeeding Kip at 15 months. So now I have Kip and she has Jin with her. And unfortunately, Kip is volatile in the middle of the night. If my alarm goes off at 3, he's going to be a wreck. He's going to be all over the place. So this is why things like this, I see this and I'm like, man, I hope some of you guys out there that are able to trade it did do it. Like West Coasters, absolutely, you should be trading this. It's a midnight for you guys, right? Super easy trade. This is the one thing that kind of sucks about living on the East Coast is European session ones are hard. Now, I could get Kip to sleep in his own crib in his own room that wouldn't hear my alarm going off because I am not naturally waking up at 3, I'd be golden. But Kip is an angry waker upper. I'm just gonna tell you right now, angry, angry. He'll just wake up, eyes are closed, he's half asleep, he's like, "Arr!" And he flails and he hits people. I get hit with the water bottle at least once a night. So yeah, yeah. But this is great. I hope some of you guys grab this. Awesome trade, easy Harry Potter trade, nice setup. What are you gonna do with it right now? Euro dollar. Again, we're in areas of buyers right now. European session is, U.S. session is coming back in. It's been super strong dollar pretty much since late last night. We would expect to see a reversal right now, and that's also what we're seeing inside of the Dixie. So that's why we started off with the Dixie being up here. And again, you can see it's pulling back from a level. Again, base, confirm touch, strong push off. Love it. As good as it gets. And look how much it's already pulled back off again. And that's why we're seeing this one reverse as well, right? That dollar weakness. Um, Now let's see. Where can we get some artificial, help with this one? Probably pretty soon. And I was wondering that. Yeah. So there's the Harry Potter. It's out. But I'm gonna pull this forward just a little bit so you guys can see it. Okay. I have the dotted lines that's helping me. There is a little bit of a hiccup right here, right? A drop, a base, and a strong push through. It probably looks better on the 15-minute. Yeah, there you look. It's easy to see it there, the green candle. It also happens to be a 23.6 retracement. Again, people that are trend traders, right? Self-identified trend traders. They love the 23.6. Well, guess what? That's the 23.6, and they're technically, I'll remove this. Technically, there is a zone there, right? Technically, there is a zone sitting right there. So, again, it's 10 o'clock, a little bit early for a reversal. It is with the trend. The problem with this one is on the lower part of the curve in the lower 33%. We're looking for more shorts, or I'm sorry, more longs than shorts down here. But people that are highly technical traders or in the self-proclaimed highly technical traders, right? They're going to look at this and be like, yeah, 23.6 pullback overnight to low. Well, I mean, it's not the high. I mean, I could run it this way too and say, oh, wait a second. If you look this way, it's coming down and yeah, it's kind of flirting around, but it's at the 61, the 71. What's going on here, right? So there's a lot of, you could counterbalance this one a few different ways, right? But you will have sellers come in, so just be cautious of that one. If anything, love the Harry Potter. Again, you'd be looking to take profit. Profit would have been on this black bar. That's where your profit would have been. And you can see now it's chopping back and forth right on that profit level. So it would have been for the run from here down is really kind of where you wanted it. Okay. What buds? All right. 2. Hmm. Trying to find a great buying opportunity in this one. What you got there, buds? Yes, you're right. It is. You're right. Hmm. I don't really love this as far as a buy goes. Right here. I was trying to see if there was something else that supported it a little bit farther back. There's a profit taking line, right? Um, right. There's a profit taking line, but I don't really like that for long. Um, you hear him. He's got a he's got a set of earbuds. He's holding up to his ear. He's like, ah, only 5. It's very small. Bop bop bop. I mean, I kind of just want this one to travel back up. I mean, there's an area here, so I mean, it's obvious why it turned there. Is it the best setup? It's only 5 pips, so it's not really a great trade. It's like, I don't really like this one either. I think there's profit taking coming in here, but it's kind of like, please be the artificial bottom and start coming back up. I'd much rather get long some of these up here. I think these long entries are much better. So yeah, uh, I don't know. You see, look, I mean, see it bounced off of that, and I'm wondering if they're running out of steam already. Um, it's only 6, small. I was hoping it was like if it was like 8 or 9. I was hoping it was up there. See that push forward. Mm. Yeah, I mean, really, we had the downtrend. We had the Harry Potter right here, and that's kind of it for right now. 3. Hmm. Yeah, I don't like I said, I mean, this is not really long. This is more of a target position for me. I mean, either one of those two are targets, and we've hit them now. Um, yeah, look, you can see the 23s are about to get stopped on the top side. There's not enough room to do a Harry Potter back in the other direction. I think though, look for this one to come up. I do think because it is such a move. Let's see, how much would it be? 50 pips. If we can get up to the 50, there's enough selling up here in the 50 to 61.8 level. I think start looking for shorts somewhere up here around 106.44. I think, right now, maybe we get weakness that comes up to here for ISM numbers tomorrow. Like if we can start grinding up in the overnight, kind of a bit of a retracement back again. As I said, from where price is now, it's only 45 pips. It's got an 82 daily ATR, so it absolutely can move that from now till tomorrow morning at 10. Um, and it can even go up and start bouncing around. It doesn't even need to be a crazy ascent. So, I mean, a 4 hour, it needs to move 43. A 4 hour ATR is 31. So, we got plenty of time for this one to kind of kick in. What are you doing? You're being crazy. Euro pound. So, you can see Euro pound. Just let you guys know for the record. Yeah, this one is close enough that it set the alert off, but it was far enough that it did not trigger. Yeah. Yeah, I love showing you guys these things because it is definitely frustrating, right? When you set some of these things up, right? You do some setting and forgetting. I like the zone, and again, I wasn't going to fall for the 23. Actually, you can see right there, the 23 made absolutely no difference whatsoever. So, again, I'm adjusting it before the high last night. But I did like how this was a very clean pullback. Very strong push up, very pull back, one candle bottom, like the takeoff. Love how that, as of yesterday morning, the 23 was kind of sitting right on there. It's not. So, I mean, again, 23 traders would have probably got stopped. It was a little bit in there. You can see how much that missed it by, right? It missed it by 1.3. The ATR, I'm sorry, the spread is average about 1.5. It's going between 1.4 and 1.6. So I missed it by less than the spread. And you can see it pulled right back up the top side, right? It wasn't huge. I mean, it was 8 pips for 25 in the other direction is what I was shooting for. Did not get my entry. Woke up, saw the price, and I was like, yeah. And then realized that I missed it by 1 point, basically 1.2, 1.3. Missed it by less than the spread. Yeah. Hate that. Happens, everybody, but is what it is. So if you guys were here yesterday and you caught that one, awesome job. I'm happy. I'm glad that you guys were able to catch it. I didn't, unfortunately. I missed my entry. The alert went off, and then I saw the price when I woke up, and I was like, yep. And then I looked at the entry and saw that it didn't trigger and was like, but it happens. Anyway, it's not really trending. We're just going sideways in there. You can see it's changed 0.04. It's minus 10 pips in 24 hours. So crazy because we were looking for the long trade and again just missed it. So we had marked these areas off yesterday, saying that hey, listen, there's so much drama back and forth in here. You can see with the new top put in. Actually, if you were looking to take this one short, again, this is actually a pretty nice top. 3 candles, right? Established, removed, established. Love when it's lower, 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 and you can see there would have been a trigger right there to take this one short. So, yeah. Yeah, I really liked it for the long. I thought we had just one more push out of it. I was like, oh, come on, come on, come on, do it. But again, there was a short trade in there. So we had talked about the short, the 88.80 short yesterday. So yeah, that's why I love trading, right? You can have short setups, long setups on both sides, and it's great. It goes sideways and both of them trigger, but it didn't. So right now, I think the important thing to note as well, we know there's buyers down there. Depending on what time we hit this level, you may be able to still use it. I haven't reset the alert on there. But I think the important thing to look at is, again, we are high in the curve. It is confirmed there are sellers up top, and we are putting lower lows in. So if we do pop up a little bit more, potentially something coming in there. And again, so a statement like, hey, the 0.5 is still on the table, you would assume that would be good. It really didn't change too much. So not the end of the world on that one. Euro yen. So euro yen, we talked about a reversal. Now this one's kind of funny. So we tagged it here at 10:30 and pushed back down, but it didn't move the full amount. It hit it again and pushed down, and it came up and hit it again. You're like, oh yeah, hit it again. You're like, okay, this is dead. Do not take this trade short, right? We've hit it 4 times in quick succession. It keeps pulling back down, so you're not losing any money on this trade. And then finally, after fifth hit, it broke through 145.30, And it's crazy enough, it went up and it just missed this guy up here. And again, we talked about this level being one to watch out for. So we can raise the fibs up just a little bit. Doesn't really make that much of a difference. Right now, again, this we can put nice little brackets in here. We can talk about 145.57 on the other side over here. I would say the last confirmed test, really kind of a big smash in, would be 143.98 here on the other side. And there's your top and bottom. We're sitting smack in the middle. Now, this is a level here where we did have some basing come off of it, and there is one touch, and we kind of definitely touched it, and then hit it again and hit it again here, and it's basing in there again. I think we can do it on this one. Yeah, it's 13. 1 to 3 is there. Yeah. Okay, this is one that I found this one. I was looking at this right before we went on. But I didn't have time to. Unfortunately, when I heard the kip with a glass and a spoon, I was like, "Oh God, Kip, you're like a raccoon, buddy." He's walking out of the room and like knocking the trash can over on the way. So that was a meme yesterday. Dark circles, eats trash, or eats sweets, or eats was it eats trash, or eats I forget what it was. One of those ones. You could be a raccoon if. Oh, great. Now I took mommy's pile of clean clothes and he's now putting it in the trash can. Lovely. It's going to be one of those days. Anyway, there's a nice little Harry Potter trade on the euro again. Again, we're seeing some European weakness. You'd expect to see more. Again, we're basing in there again. Love it. 1, 2, and 3. And then we are basing in there. That's typically what we're looking for. We're looking for the drop, the base, the pullback. 13 pips risk on this one, 40 in the other direction. Looking for price to come ultimately down to 144.41. Pound dollar. So pound dollar took a nice little turn yesterday. 10 came back up. Used the same sellers up top again. Not really a Harry. We talked about this not really being a Harry Potter. We didn't really get a great entry on it. We just left it on there, and funny enough, it worked again. Now we've retraced all the way back down again. We're taking the bounce off this bottom side. Look, pushed it deep. Obviously, it's not a trade after that. Look at all the basing in there. So again, target hit. I mean, all this is going to reverse. I can delete this one here. Put that there. Put that up in that side. I think probably, again, this is kind of going off that same level. Probably a little bit of watch right here. 120.35. There is one that's not bad there. 37. This one's not horrible. Let's see if we drop it down, if we can make it cleaner. No, we can't. Ugh. I don't like that. This is not horrible, right? This is not bad. I'm good with it when it looks like that. But when you look at it, the broken down candle, it's like, ooh, what is that? Right? A pop, and then straight, it's like, ooh. It's 12. Ugh. Not a horrible trade. There are worse trades, right? What's the risk on it? It's only 12. 12 pips, and it doesn't even have to go back down to the low. And again, if we see that dollar weakness come back in and the dollar strength roll back out, that kind of makes sense. Not bad. Again, it may just run into so many sellers here. It may just continue to go lower. Like I said, you can see there was a touch here, the confirmation touch 2, 3. This is technically hit number 4, so we're not really looking to take this one long. But if it pushes back up again, it should have a clear path because these buyers are probably gone. So yeah, it's not bad. I'm okay with that one. Pound yen. So pound yen gave us this really sloppy Harry Potter, never got us out, and then again, look at it, just spent all this time basing, right? All this time basing, right? Bink down, bink down, bink down. You're like, yep, this not gonna hold. And actually, look at this. This is actually not bad. I should have marked that one off too. That one obviously went lower. But yeah, this is kind of funny. 12 hits over that same level. Our profit target was here, so our profit target did get tagged yesterday. Yeah, I mean, right now we're waiting for this to come down. Again, there are buyers here sitting there, but we're not necessarily interested in that one. Again, remember we drew the fibs down. Right now, that's where the fibs look like because that's still the low. We're looking for this to come down because we want the 164.30. So yeah, that long is good from last week. Pull these off. Um, yeah, not much else we can actually be there. But what do you want? You want this? This? There. Yeah. So again, downtrend. We're not looking to take this one long. There's too many buyers down here, but not a good enough level. Again, there's going to be a small level of buyers here, and again, but it's one, two, three. This is hit number four. They're probably going to be eaten up. There's probably a couple more in there because these two had problems, but again, this touch right here, a mirror bottom. So we're not interested in that. This is a mirror bottom, a little bit of a hit, but again, profit target setting, not really an entry qualification. And then if you look a little bit lower where the next level buyers comes in, there's one, there's two, there's three. This is hit number four as well. Not interested in taking a reversal off it, and then we have this clearing wick. So you know, not a lot that's great looking right here, right? Again, because of this clearing wick. So this one, we really need this one to continue to grind lower. Um, you know, yeah, not great. Dollar CAD. Let's look at this one. Chop sideways. What are we at here? Dollar CAD minus 41 looks like it's great, but only because we had spiked up here yesterday. Yeah, we had the 10 o'clock, 10:30 spike, and we're just kind of in the middle of that range. Two trade setups in here still. We have an alert set on 135.57 to the downside, but I mean, really, we've kind of. I guess you could use either side. If you want to start marking this one off for tomorrow, we could absolutely do that. Here and there. How about spot? Right. So nothing ready yet. Skirting right down the middle of a channel. So no trade setups there. All right. So yesterday we completed it. Went a little bit higher, which is fine. Again, we knew this wasn't fresh. Hit, base below. It's going to break. Peak above, peak above, peak above. We're still there. So we are holding high. So again, this one is out. Let's remove that one. You can put this up top, although I don't love that one. 23 is all the way down here. Not really in an area where I'm worried about my profit target was hit. That's fine. I'm good with that top. It looks much better when we drop to the 15. Um, Honestly, bearish mindset on this one. Just because we're high in the curve, I do absolutely think that this one has the ability to go higher. I don't know if we can get much higher than again. I think 95 would be very difficult to get through. Um, right now, I think it's just lack of news. But we've pierced here many times at this point. Kind of wondering if 94 is going to be the new bottom. We talked about it yesterday, talking about this 90, the 94.50 to kind of the 93.50. If this was going to be our new range in there, and you can see we kind of tag the bottom and the top, and we're still floating there. So you know, on a pure, erase dollar Swiss up here and say, okay, what do you think on this one? Obviously high in the curve, but we have pushed through this number of times right now. And again, I think tomorrow's data matters the most. Right now, there's no levels that I'm in love with. As far as tops and bottoms go, it's going to be kind of the same thing. There's where the news comes out. What does the European market do with it? I'd like to see if it pushes it up or a new zone is formed. I think that's the best way to take this one right now. Because right now, I mean, there's no trend. I mean, you're looking sideways. I mean, it looks, 26 pips. It looks like it's great, but I mean, it's coming back on the downside. So again, it's only because we had that spike down yesterday. So really, nothing tradable with that either. What do we got in this one? One, two. Look at that. Three is there's your one, two, three. Four is what broke, and then came back and used it. Not really super clean though. Uh, you can see that that one was good. Let's pull that off. By the way, here. So yesterday, here I'll just so everybody can see this one. Pull that one off. So we had this drawn yesterday. The 10:30 candle is right there, and we talked about this level and drew that zone, right? There's your 50% hit, and there's your takeoff. So this one is out. Again, hit that one at 12. So if you're here yesterday, there you go. Another 35 pips. There was a level from yesterday. We can continue to push this up. Kind of a similar thing. Kind of a similar setup. The level's a little bit big. Let me see. Can we get a better level with that? Not really. But it's okay. Similar setup. Similar setup. Basing around the 50%. It's confirmed. There's a little bit of front run on there, so this one may not be as clean. Again, I think yesterday's is better based off of how this candle formed and the wicks. Much better zone than this one, but you can say confirmation front run. No, I can't. I know what you want, but not yet. It's 17, so it's a little bit big. You could probably shrink it a little bit, but it's not going to shrink too much more. 12. Yes, Jeff. We brought that up actually. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, I got it. Well, high maintenance, boy. Get down. Oh, here, get down. Get your dinosaur. There you go. Yeah, so similar trade setup to yesterday. It's not as good as yesterday. I like yesterday much better, but it is going to be a level that, again, we can see some bounces off of. We'll need to push down. Remember, this one will have news tomorrow as well. Again, dollar yen is always a little bit riskier right now because of the influence that it has on the overall Dow. So just keep that in mind. But again, high in the curve, I expect a rollback. I think there's some of the other trades we've set up are better opportunities. But again, this was a super easy one from yesterday. So what? What'd you do? Somebody's also getting another tooth in, so he's not happy about that either. So, Kip, what? Come here, stop. I forgot to bring candy upstairs today. That's my problem. What? Here, you want Miss Rachel? Here, do you want some Miss Rachel? Here, do you want Miss Rachel? Hold on one sec, guys. Let me grab this for him real quick. You guys haven't watched Miss Rachel? She's like the new thing for kids. I can't say that I love Miss Rachel, but Kipster loves Miss Rachel. All right, so oil. So yesterday, oil, we actually saw them actually get the number correct. It wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as the non-farm number. We talked about it rolling back down again. Let's see. The Wednesday roll was kind of right here, right? It shot down, it spiked up, and then shot back down again, just to whip everybody out. We had this kind of clearing wick up and down. And you can see it went right back off that 77 and then hit it again and then kind of rolled back down in the overnight. European market came in, which is always a nice little refresh. No, stop. I will put it down. You can hold it, but do not move it, right? Just sit there. Again, 1, 2. Ignore that one. You could count that one, but 3. It's obviously going through. It's going to break. It started the base. Whoops. And then pulled all the way through, right? Europeans stepped in. There's 245 right there, right? There's where the Europeans stepped into this one. Actually, the green is... Yeah, the green's the 3. So that's where Europeans stepped in. It's going higher. It's up 0.7. I wouldn't say it's anything super crazy. It's not really. I mean, is it trending? It is, but it's running into sellers. We've seen it over here in the past. If I bring this across, you can see that's what we're running into. It doesn't really have a clear path right now. I'd really like to see this push up. Probably. Well, as far as analysis goes, I'd like to see it push up. I don't actually mean that. Nobody throw hate at me. But I'd like to see it get up to this level up here at 79.40ish. Before we looking for any type of clean shorts. I don't want that price to go up because I don't want to pay more for gas. I'm very anti-gas or paying for gas. Like if they gave it to me for free, I have no problem filling it in my tank and driving. I do enjoy driving. I like driving. I would never drive like a truck or anything like that. I'd get that one Tesla guy that wants to. Bob, what did you do? That one Tesla guy that wants to cut me off in like an 18-wheeler and. No, I don't want that. But what did you do? There we go. But it's got to chunk through. There's so many small areas. Sellers. We know that this is an area ready. Again, it chopped through this. It's just grinding higher. And again, with yesterday not being a monsters thing, that's why we've seen the movement we have. So again, I'm okay with it ending up high here. I think we could, I think there potentially be some shorts, but it's got to go up a little bit higher. So it's not the greatest in my mind. Natural gas. Look, 1, 2, 3. 4 is what busted it. It came back and grabbed it, but started the base. And again, we're in the same area. We're looking for this to come up to 186.5. It came up to 186.3. So, yeah, it came up to 186.3. So I missed it by what? Point 0.2 of a penny. So if you like sliced a bit of the copper off on the side, that's what I missed it by. But same opinion. I think we're in a bearish area. Is there a great bearish trade here? Not really on a technical level until we get up into the 290 mark. I don't want to go to 290, but that's the first area that really we were looking to kind of do much with it. So yesterday's little gap and had a nice little trade at 8:30, and then after that it hasn't moved. We're kind of in the same area. Now gold chopping back and forth. We had drawn this one yesterday talking about this area. We tagged it yesterday morning at 9:30, and we talked about it being down, and it kind of drove down, and it kind of came back down and found the same area. The old Harry Potter that happened here is kind of what we ran into, but it's quite choppy. I wouldn't say that this is trending. I mean, we're down 0.08, so not even a tenth of a percent, and not really any major news. Now, ISM should actually do something with this tomorrow. Again, obviously, this is not a manufacturing, but I think everybody right now is kind of looking at this data tomorrow. It's like, oh my God, what are they going to do? Services, productivity costs and everything were higher. What is that? Are we contracting? We're in the expansion phase, but the question is, it's expected to be a little bit lower than it was last time. Is there a major difference between 55.2 and 55.4 for what they actually tell us? The answer is no, not really. But it's not a 49, right? A 49.9 means that we're contracting versus expanding. And that's how, this ISM stuff works. Put it this way, if it drops to 49, it's going to be off to the races for gold. It's to the moon tomorrow. I don't think it's going to drop that far. But I mean, if it comes in the other way and it's like 58 higher, then again, gold would be a nice little thing, a nice little short. So right now, again, we can kind of see where they position it. It's not really trending at all. Look, right now, 0.01. So there you go, 0. It was 0 a second ago, 0.02, right? It's just flat. There's no trade, right? No trade in that one. Silver, doing a little bit more. We talked about this one coming through, breaking through 21, and it did. You can see it kind of came down, found some buyers. We mentioned 21 being kind of the new 22, and this is exactly what it looks like, right? We would have a burst through and then some tests of it, and then it would fail. And then it would try to fight its way back up, and it would start basing below it and then fail again. Probably the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, it went down just as low as we forecast. We said, hey, listen, probably going to have some problems at 2060. It looks like the low was 2066. So right in that same level. And now it's obviously rallying back up again. But it's only, minus 0.6 is nothing for silver. I like to see, again, kind of the same opinion. Looking for this one tomorrow morning. Again, news is 8:30. Is it 8:30 or 10? Oh, crap, it's 10. I've been set at 8:30. 10's right there. 3 is right there. So kind of seeing what it does with those two ranges. So same thinking. There and there. Right. Want to see what it does. So I tell you right now, the way that it's grinding right now, I would assume that the top or the bottom is not put in as far as what we'd use for news. Again, if it decides that this is where it's going, it turns here and pulls down. Yeah, that could be a sell area, but we're a little bit too far away. 23 and a half hours is too far to pick where the top or bottom is going to be. So we'll see. It's probably pretty close, though. Let's check those indices out. They are all leveling out, it looks like. Let's see what we got. All right. So the red, there's the test. Right. There's your test. This is one that probably entered a bit early. Yeah, you would have had to do that for your test. Maybe, maybe not. I would say this one was probably more of an 8:45 entry. There was a spike down to it, depending on your broker. You may or may not have got an entry on there. It was super close. Again, right on this chart, it doesn't look like it. But again, all brokers are slightly different. It would have been really, really close on that entry. Again, it wasn't confirmed. Again, here's the European session open. You do have a confirmation in the European session as well as a near-term touch. If you did, again, your entry really should have been there. Here's your confirmation. The entry really should have come in at 8:45, which I know is not the opening print, but unfortunately, that's what the candle's showing us. 1 to 3 is right there. There's 1 to 3 exactly. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Right, 1 to 3, and you can see it went above, and now it is no longer showing. So, based off the true technical setup, you're out 1 to 3. If you tried at the open, you may or may not have gotten in. It may have been like razor thin at the open. So, but there again, this is the rules. Confirmation touch in the overnight, and yeah, there's your touch, and yeah, there's one. NQ, NQ went a little deeper. Now this one has the touch. It's kind of more there. We're on the 15, and it's kind of like, well, that's where the touch was, right? This is basically the same. The confirmation touch was in there. If you set the zone there, 9:15, 9:30. So this was in the zone when it started. So I mean, this was in the buy area. 1 to 3. This is 1 to 301. So it's already beyond and past. So yeah, there's 2, right? And what's great about this one is this is a long trade in a red market, right? You gotta love that. Gotta love that. YM, let's see what we got. This one probably missed. The 9:30 came down. I don't think it got it. Would be there. No. Close. Close. And again, it's well past the 1 to 3. It's close, right? I mean, even if we put it to where this candle was here, where the test was, you missed. Look, you can see how much you missed it by. Right? You guys can see it there. Look how little that misses. So unfortunate, but again, the other 2 hit. It was a long trade, right? 9:15, yeah. So good long trade, but you probably missed the entry. This is one of those ones that left the train station without you. And the Russell. Let's see what we got here. 15, 9:30 open there. Yeah. So I would say on this one, again, if you try to catch this one at the open as it touched, it did go straight down rather fast. So, I mean, if you were trading these opening prints, trying to be a little bit more aggressive, and this is how it typically works. If you have setups in ESNQYM, Russell tends to be the volatile one that screws it up. If you didn't have a setup in the other 3, you tend to be able to catch it on the Russell. So if you try to trade all 4 of these today, ES, you may or may not have caught this one because, again, it was like an 8:45 entry versus a 9:30. You can see it was razor thin on that one. So let's just, worst case scenario, let's say you missed that one. NQ absolutely was a grab and out. YM probably missed this one. And then Russell, if you try to grab it on the way in, again, it missed it at 9:15. It did take the 9:30. You probably got stopped out. So if you use 1 to 3 on all these, let's assume, again, worst case, you did not catch this one. You were nothing on this one because, again, you were waiting for opening print, not 8:45. This one would have been a +3. This one would have been a nothing because you missed it. And this would have been a -1. You would ended up at +3 and all those things. So, yeah, not bad. I mean, ending up +2 isn't bad. Technically, it should have been a +5 had you been watching this one early and not just, waking up at 9:25 and be like, all right, where's the trade? You should already been in the trade by just a little bit sooner. So, is what it is. So not a bad day for opening prints. Could have been worse. Could have been much, much worse. Apple's not doing bad down here. Apple's got a little bit of room. I feel like if this gets negative this afternoon, I feel like Apple's going to probably turn and roll pretty quick. Tesla's the same scenario. They're both trying to get back up to that gap. Yep, stop, bud. Just put it right there. I don't know. What are you doing? No. Here. There you go. Look, Bubba, she's teaching you how to do weight. So that's it for opening print today. Let me see if the dollar is still pulling back and holding. It's trying to push back down. I got that one. See, has there been any other headlines? What is Pill saying? Yeah. Exactly, Bubba. On the positive side, UK performing mildly better than expected. It's not bad. It could be worse. That's okay, right? It's not bad, especially with all the new Brexit data. So, not horrible. All right, that's it for today. I'd love to do, the contest, but unfortunately, for some reason, they must be having the stream elements to, Twitch link problems today. And again, sometimes it happens. We tried it twice where we kind of closed it and tried to resend it, and it's not sending the message through. So unfortunately, the link is not working today, and it happens. It breaks, right? I guess they got to reset their link into, you know, in. So unfortunately, there's no contest today, guys. We'll have to roll it in tomorrow. Hopefully, they got it fixed. But again, you can see it's running here, but unfortunately, the ticket purchases are not working, just because, again, link is not working. Can't do anything about it. I can't fix that link. They got to probably reset their link. So with that said, thank you for joining me today. I'll be back on at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Don't worry. Again, this is a big one. It is after we start tomorrow, so we'll be able to kind of see what it looks like, and then we'll see if we can grab any of those setups. So thank you for joining me today. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Someone's hacking has gone too far. Exactly, Ernest. Exactly. You can only mess with the recipe so much before you break the recipe. And I feel like the hacking has broken the recipe at this point. So anyway, hope to see you all guys on tomorrow. Again, this will be a fun one because we can actually trade it at 10. And I'll see you guys then. Thanks again. Take care.